Sheila, did you have fun? I wish you lived in the Midwest so you could come to my puppy class. Eventually I'm going to teach a puppy class out here. This is Sheila. She is a 12-week-old Australian Shepherd, German Shepherd, Cocker Spaniel, Chihuahua, and some other stuff mix. And this is her roadmap to success. Now she's a great little puppy. She's actually shows to be a pretty intelligent puppy. And so we did a lot of things to help her. We kind of skipped ahead, a little bit further ahead than we would normally do with a puppy. Like the feeding thing, she figured out the feeding ball right away. And so it's one of those things where sometimes we want to get a really intelligent dog, but intelligent dogs needs a little bit more stimulation. So be careful what you wish for. Now we went over things like passive training, which is simply recognizing the dog when it does desired actions and behaviors, petting her for doing them and saying the command word. Now remember, you have 3 seconds to correct or reward your dog for them to make a connection. So if she sits, sit. She lays down, chill, or whatever the word is you want to use. So we're just waiting for the dog to do the action organically, and then we're rewarding them. Good attention from us and bad attention from us is pretty much the same thing. So if the dog steals my slipper and I go and chase her, or she comes and sits in front of me and I ignore her, she's going to do the bad thing. So I'd like the guardians to get in the habit of recognizing and reinforcing the positive behaviors and actions the dog does. That's what I call passive training. So if we come in the room and we see the dog walks up to one of our partners and sits down, we might say, reward. And the partner should just look at the dog and say, oh, she's sitting, I'm going to pet her and say the word sit. Now, when I like to pet a dog, I like to pet them under the chin. When a dog feels good about themselves, their nose is elevated, parallel to the ground, or tilted up. If we pat a dog on top of the head, a lot of times their nose goes down. Insecure dogs look down. So we'd like our dog to look up and feel better, feel good about the things that we like her doing. So now for passive training, anytime she does anything organically, like she comes to us, we pet her, say come, but if she brings me a toy, I might say the name of that particular toy. Every time she goes to her dog bed, I might say the name of that particular dog bed, and each dog bed should have its own name. This was a good idea for lighting, but it's not very fun for me looking into the sun. That's okay. Let me see, what else? We're going to use petting with a purpose, which is basically once she knows basic commands, we're going to start petting her. If she jumps up on us, if we pet her when she jumps up, then that's what we're rewarding. So instead, when she jumps up, we're going to tell her to sit, and when she sits, we're going to pet her and say the word sit. I'm also getting over a cold, which is why I'm not crying. I'm not crying because I'm about to miss you. Oh, thank you, sweetie. So the more that we pet with a purpose and do passive training, the more the dog has an incentive to do the things that we want her to do. Now remember, anything she's doing when we pet her is what we're rewarding. So if she is nervous, we pet her, we can make her more nervous. Excited, more excited. So when she is like inside, she was relaxed on the couch. Right now she's relaxed. I can pet her from here. I can say chill, or zen, or whatever the word is, and then I'm putting it in context. So that way when she actually is going crazy and I say zen, she has a point of reference. Sit. Let me see, we went over potty training. If you forget how to do that, go to Quest Ed and look up the Quest potty training video. She does a pretty good job. She has a dog door, but just the guardians were not rewarding her during the reward stage. They were just doing it during the command stage. So when the dog potties, I say the word potty when it starts. As soon as it starts, within 2 or 3 seconds of it starting, I say potty once. Then I'm quiet and I remain still. As soon as the dog is done, I pull out a high-value training treat and I pop it in the dog's mouth, and after it goes in the mouth, I say the word potty again. The first one links the action with the command word. The second word links the command word to the reward. And after a while, the dog will hold out to get that reward. Now remember, anytime you give a treat, the treat should go in the dog's mouth first, and then they should hear the command word immediately after. Now if you're petting a dog and it does do this, it's a little bit young for her now, but as she gets older, if you're petting her and she puts her paw on you, she's dominating or telling you what to do. Immediately stop petting her. And then as soon as her paw goes down the ground, then you can go back to petting her again. I know you want to get down and be rambunctious. And this is not a shock collar, this is a GPS tracker. I will have people that will message me, that dog is too young to be wearing a shock collar.
Dog whistle.
Yep, dog whistle. There's nothing bad here. We don't like shock collars here at Doggone Problems. Let me see, but the more that we pet our dog for sitting and doing those things, the more they're going to do that. And after a while, your dog will come and sit in front of people as we have prepaying for it, saying, look, I'm sitting down to ask for attention. And your friends will say, oh my God, your dog's just so well behaved. And you're like, of course, I hired Doggone Problems. But no, we're just teaching the dog how we want them to behave by recognizing and rewarding those desired actions and behaviors. We went through, I wish I would have shot a video for it, but I went over teaching her how to, I didn't really teach, but I recommended her guardian start feeding her out of a treat dispensing toy. I use the Omega treat ball that I get on Amazon, and the guardian's gonna leave, I'm gonna leave one here. I would recommend she gets a couple other ones. I like ones of different shapes, so that when the dog has different problem solving. This makes eating longer. The dog has to earn its food, which makes it feel better about it. And it also it makes toys much more important to the dog, because when I chew on a toy, treats come out of it. When I chew on the couch, nothing comes out of it. So after a while, the dog would be more interested in doing that. My dog Quest, at 5 months old, I could leave him home in my living room without anything. I think he's trying to get you to bring the Omega treat ball in here so I can show it. So at 5 months old, do you have the treat ball? Thank you.
I didn't want to distract.
No, that's all right. We're guerrilla promotion here. So this has a hole, and this is where the treats come out. And you see, she's all into this. She's not completely done with it. But basically, I have 2 or 3 of these different toys, and you see she's very interested. This makes her more inclined to want to chew on toys. Now, the problem with this is once it's empty, she will destroy it. Some dogs, when they get big enough, to try to find out why it's not paying off treats. So as soon as she gets done, make sure you take this and put it up on the top of the fridge, or just take it away so she can't get access to it. And I would get 2 or 3 other ones in different shapes. Some of them are puzzles, some of them are dumbbell size, some of them are pyramids. Just get different ones that she can use as problem solvers. And now her nails are a little bit long. She has black nails, but if you don't stay on top of your dog's nails, they can get long, and actually it can affect the growth of the bones in their feet, leading to early onset of arthritis. It also they can split down the access point. You might have to amputate the nail. I've had a couple clients actually have to do that. So what I would recommend is, well, I'd like the guardians to set up a follow-up session with me, and we can get a Dremel. I can show them how to create a conditioned emotional response. This is classical conditioning. Right now, for most dogs, you pick up the leash, the dog goes nuts, because the leash means we're about to go for the walk. So it's associated together. So I actually have a way of creating a positive association. So we pull out the Dremel, the dog's like, it's time for me to get a mani-pedi. Most dogs do not like having their nails trimmed, so if you can create a positive association, it'll help things out quite a bit. I recommend the guardians use fun command words. One of the guardians got it, the other one guardian kept on saying kind of more the basic commands, but the more fun command words you use, kind of the more levity you bring to the situation, which really helps. Now they have a dog playpen area, which is something I have outlined on Quest Ed, which is going to be great. Use the counter surfing video that one of the guardians has already checked out, because she's going to get close to the point where she can start stealing stuff on the counters. Let me see. We want to mess with her, flip up her ears. Look at her ears. We want to lift up her gums. Look at her teeth. We want to flip up each digit and hold each digit individually, and for all the paws. Now, sometimes you can give a treat and then hold the digit, and that's part of what I do when I'm conditioning dogs to like getting a Dremel. But also want to lift up their tail, look at their undercarriage. These are things a vet's going to do, so we want to have the dog comfortable with people touching them in that sort of way, so that she feels more okay when she visits the vet. Another little trick you can do is go to the vet's office when you're not going there for a visit, just to have the staff give her some treats. So if every time she goes to the vet's office, she gets a bunch of these tasty treats, she likes going there. Also, a lot of us hold the dog like this, and when they're little, and that's great. But sometimes the dog's going to become possessive. Now, she's going to eventually be bigger where she's not going to be held a lot. But if we're out like on the boulevard or boardwalk in Venice, and we just go for a walk on Sunday mornings, and people come up to us and they're like, "Oh, cute puppy, can I pet your puppy? You want to give her a treat?" I'd love to give her a treat. So if people just walk up and give her a treat, then she associates when people approach me, they're not going to mean anything bad. They're actually, something good has got to happen. Now, the other thing you can do is teaching your dog to sit or mand. Now, Lowe's and Home Depot are both dog-friendly stores. We're in Los Angeles. There's a lot of dog-friendly stores out here. But if you take your dog to places that she's allowed to go into, and with a bunch of treats, and she's on the ground, and people are like, "Can I pet your dog?" Do the same thing, but just use the hand trick motion that I do, which is kind of like I go over their head in an arc. As they track up, that puts their butt down. As soon as they sit, I lower my hand, let her lick it off my hand, and I tickle on her chin. Then I turn and give a treat to the next person. They will do the same thing with your dog. And what this does is teaches Sheila, if she goes and sits in front of a human, they're going to give her attention. And again, that's a way of making her a well-behaved dog in the eyes of other people. Give her a naughty dog name. So when she's doing something wrong, we can call her a different name, and so she separates good from bad. Make a list of your command words, and make sure you're exclusively using the command word. Not come here, come. Not cities, sit. So a lot of us use too many words, and it's confusing for our dog. So when I give a command, I give it twice. I tell the dog to sit, sit. As soon as the dog sits, I give it the treat and say the word sit a second time. So again, I want to link the action with the command and then the reward with the command word. Let me see. The human should eat something first before they feed the dog. You want the treat ball. Okay, we'll hold it up here. She's going to go into puppy classes, and her guardian's going to let me know how puppy classes go, because I'm either going to start teaching classes out here or find one that I can refer clients to, because I work with a lot of puppies, which is an awesome part of my job, yes. If there's anything else I'm forgetting? If you want to disagree, I use a hissing sound like a cat. So I have 10 versions of it. I have level 1 hiss to a level 10 hiss. Second thing, I have a series of these to go through, but she's a puppy, so we don't want to focus too much on the negative, but she's not listening to stand up and turn to face her. Your authority goes whatever direction your belly button is pointed. So if you stand up abruptly, the dog will take a step back. When she does, keep your belly button pointed and keep it pointed at her until she stands still, sits, or lies down. As soon as she does that, then you can stop what you're doing and go back to what you were doing. But that's kind of a way of saying, hey, if you're doing the wrong thing, I'm willing to burn the energy to stand up, which is your commanding position for a dog. The Guardians asked a little bit about leash training. She's too young, really, to work with a leash. I went off some the leash training that we do, which ironically we do without a leash. Just clicking, some basic clicker training, and then clicking when she comes close to us. Now remember, when you're practicing that, to not go too many steps at once. So at first, anytime she looks at you, you click as you're walking in circles around her. Now we want her to walk in the right side, so we're walking in clockwise circles. If we want to walk on the left side, we work in counterclockwise circles. And that way she's approaching your left side, and you click when she looks at you at first. And then when she starts looking a bunch, then we do it when she takes her first step towards us, we click. And we always give the treat right after. And then after a while, we do 2 steps, 3 steps. Next step is hold it on the seam of our pants. And if we set up a follow-up session, I can show you how to do the Dremels and set up and show you the next steps for teaching your dog to walk at a heel. Being able to put your dog's leash in your back pocket and walk with a phone in one hand and a cappuccino in the other is pretty awesome. All right, is there anything I'm forgetting? I'll give each dog bed its own designation. Remember, throw the treat. When she gets it in her mouth, we say the word, but each dog bed has its own name, so that way I can direct her to go to the living room, go to the dining room, go to the bedroom. I think that's pretty much it. Now, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Make sure you call me or text me. I can only help you if you let me know. Sheila? She smells like maple syrup. This is Sheila. This is her roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it. Isn't that right?